Cool. Ready? Another day of food and wine pairing. I'm super jacked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different dumplings celebrating Spring Festival or Chinese New Year, celebrating the Lunar New Year.
Exciting. And what better way to do that than with wine and dumplings?
A little like wine and dumplings. So, back talking about food and wine pairings, there's just with dumplings, so many opportunities. And I think what's really important to understand is that potentially a sauce that you choose to dip your dumplings into is going to be more important for the food and wine pairing. But we have 6 different types of dumplings.
And I've made a very spicy sauce, so I'm excited for some muscat with a little bit of residual sugar in it.
So if your sauce has lots of heat in it, what you want is lower amounts of alcohol and higher amounts of sweetness. With the lower alcohol, higher sweetness, like you would find also in an ice wine, which is probably going to be great. With the lower amount of alcohol and higher sweetness, you don't have those things elevated. But if you have spice and high alcohol and dryness, man, does the spice ever get hotter? And so potentially maybe bring you to a spot where you're a little bit uncomfortable. So our types of dumplings, pork and corn, beef and celery, tofu and chive, pork and cabbage, shrimp, and mackerel. So just based on understanding those ingredients, we can start to think about how to best make a food and wine pairing with those groups. And we're going to sort of put one with each of the wine, see how that goes. And let's just start with shrimp, I think. Let's go shrimp with the mackerel. Shrimp with O, I think.
Yeah,
let's try
that makes sense. We're going to dive in.
Dive in. So I'm going to split her in half.
You're right. Have
the dumpling by itself. And then dip it in my sauce. Because I think really the O with the sauce that I've made is going to be what's going to be exciting.
But bubbles in seafood is always a pretty easy pairing.
There's enough salt and umami that almost make this muscat even more fruity.
It does.
And really excited to try it with the sauce.
And then, so we've got some delicious chili oil in here. So it's got some heat, and that residual sugar is going to help calm that down.
Oh, too much acid. I think it actually interacts in the wrong way. The dumpling by itself with the muscat made the muscat taste better. The muscat with the sauce sort of overpowered all of that fruit and elevated some of the acidity in it, making the wine not taste as fresh. Wrong. Food and wine pairings are all about trial and error and seeing what sort of works. So next we're going to move on to the mackerel. And my thought for the mackerel was there's a Gewürztraminer option, a Riesling option, and a rosé option. I'm going to leave the rosé, I think, for one of the pork and corn. Riesling or Gewürz? What do you think? What are we going to risk?
Mackerel and the fishiness that is associated with that, I think is going to call for something either more powerful or less powerful. So it's splitting the hair down the middle. That's not how that saying goes. But let's do Gewürztraminer, because hopefully that
I think the intensity of aroma and the oiliness that I'm expecting with the oiliness
of our 2020 Gewürztraminer
is going to work out really, really well.
And this one I'm probably going to avoid the chili oil in my sauce because it is 13% alcohol.
I'm still going to try it and get uncomfortable.
13.5?
So Gewürztraminer is this really, really aromatic grape variety that often has really, really big body, big weight and richness, and lower acidity. Yeah, definitely the fishiness that I was expecting. With really nice vegetal quality.
Yeah?
I would like to see it maybe get elevated, the fruit in the Gewürztraminer get elevated and not so dominant by those characters.
Yeah, I wasn't actually expecting
but it got softer,
veggies in here.
And I really liked overall that balance. I'm going into the sauce though.
Do it. Melt your face off. Now I'm feeling like the Riesling. I gotta go back and try.
Well, we'll try that afterwards. Riesling will go tofu and chive, but maybe that's the next wine that we have anyways. Oh, man,
It works with
It
this.
works really well with that heat. I was completely wrong in my
So you need
earlier
the sauce in
description.
there.
That's, that sauce really elevates the fruit in that Gewürztraminer and has the power to sort of stand up to it where it kind of dominated the Muscat.
Yeah.
It was really fun
That
though.
was pretty good. I'm surprised that my mouth's not like
Alright.
fully on fire right now.
Let's go. Tofu and chive with Riesling. I really want the vegetal with this Riesling in particular. So we did extended juice distillation, and there's a wonderful greenness or vegetal character to this, the 2022 Platinum Riesling, that I'm sort of really looking forward to with this pairing.
Whoop. Shaboom. And that crisp acid, it's gonna cut through that weightiness of soybean.
Ooh.
It smells like some good Riesling.
Ooh. So much salt. Oh. So much intensity from. Sorry. So much salt, so much intensity from a flavor from the chive, and almost maybe a little bit of garlic in there. I'm really excited to.
I feel like we might have flipped these around and mackerel with Riesling
And
deal with this.
I think it really elevates, though, for me, the apple characteristics in this wine, and I don't mind that it makes the Riesling more textural. But let me know what the outcome is. Or do you
I
need
think
another one
it's
yet?
definitely not a miss.
I'm gonna go with the sauce this time.
I think I'm more impressed with the Gewürztraminer.
Gewürztraminer is a better option. You have to
for
try it
tofu,
afterwards.
okay? Absolutely.
Yeah, it sort of changed the aromatics I found of the Riesling. It brought out a lot more apple, a lot less of the sort of lemon rind and that mineral component.
and that
that's in
mackerel
there.
wasn't as potent as I was expecting it to be.
It smelled more than it tasted.
Yeah,
The tastes on
really
that were
good.
really, really delicious. Okay, so pork and corn, pork and cabbage, or beef and celery. That's definitely going less. Let's go pork and cabbage with the Syrah, with the.
Via
that's- Syrah?
I think that's a good move.
All right.
I'd either do that or the Pinot Noir, but let's do the rosé. I would need some rosé.
Pork and corn with the Pinot Noir. That's where
Oh.
we're gonna go.
Yeah.
We save that beef for that Cab Franc. See what happens. Wow, floral, strawberry fruit. Been very cool. Nice work.
Thank you. It's good on the nose for sure. Vio and Syrah are Viognier and Syrah are a very good combo together. Pork and cabbage.
Let's see. Nice acidity, great structure in this wine. I think the flavors are going to be.
This feels like a good move.
Without ever tasting, there's like some smokiness in there, some soy umami characters already.
Yeah, and so we talk about this Viognier Syrah has a little bit of skin ferment on the Viognier. We talk about that being a really good food wine and at 10.5 alcohol. Boy, does that soften out the tannins, and like my mouth is watering for another bite at this point.
So the sauce again coming back, overpowering. I think a little bit the wine, but just with the straight dumpling, man, does that wine ever get fruitier? And the dumpling gets like almost cleaner in terms of its taste. It's a really, really exciting pairing.
Wow,
It's been my favorite so far.
that is very good. I'm gonna give that sauce a try though.
I'm really excited to have my beef dumpling completely coated in sauce and then try the ice wine after. I think that's going to be the best. Pork and corn with Pinot Noir. There you are.
So you were definitely pushing this one. What's your thoughts behind that?
I just think that potentially the corn
And its
expression and its sweetness is going to really, really need the tannin and the acidity from the 21 Heritage Pinot Noir Marinus and Vineyard.
Let's get that bottle right up.
And I like the complex nose, the little bit of the I mean, Mm-hmm.
And I'd say pork and Pinot are a good combo outside of dumplings.
Yes.
So moving towards that in the dumpling format's a good call too.
Acidity comes down, tannins smooth out. The wine really supports the food really supports the wine in this case. I like the pairing, and it is more of that corn flavor. Like
It pushes the
corn
barrel
notes.
note in that
Yeah.
Pinot Noir a
Brings out
little
smoke.
bit. Yeah.
All right, let's go with the sauce. I'm worried about the sauce in red wines, this sauce in particular, but maybe for no reason.
Well, I mean, we base the sauce with vinegar and heat.
I
Vinegar
know
is
the sauce
sometimes
are
a
so
hard thing.
a hard thing to pair, but it just softens. The one thing it does is maybe dominates that red wine a little bit too much, takes away some of its flavors, but overall really good.
It's almost like we should be whipping together a sauce with this Pinot Noir. And have
Individual sauces, you can design them from everything that you want to use within this to really get closer. I don't know. Just a little rinse of those glasses for finally our 2022 Cabernet Franc ice wine, which I haven't tried since we bottled it. I'm really, really excited. We just released it for Ice Wine Festival last month, and why not celebrate Lunar New Year with
some ice wine. Yeah, that was a good clean year. The fruit coming off the vines at that point for ice wine, like really intact, good color. And we're
good
gonna
balance?
put that with
Balance
some
of fresh fruit still. Beef and celery. Ice wines. I know their ice wines are fruity, they're sweet. They want the most intense flavors in the world to pair. Blue cheese, foie gras, all really classic pairings with this wine style.
Yeah, that richness really lends itself,
You need power with power from a pairing point of view.
or else the other one gets dwarfed.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
That ice wine's pretty fantastic too. Okay, give us some beef.
The celery note really pushes the fruit expression in Cab Franc. It just builds and builds and builds. Both together, nice into the sauce. This is what I've been looking forward to.
You're right, and celery is a very powerful flavor. I know it's like one of the more subtle vegetables, but it takes over some dishes pretty quick.
But when you're cooking it, oh man, you gotta go sauce though.
I think I'm ready for it. Because this is the one where like that sweetness and that low alcohol is just gonna make it
Yeah.
work. So I'm making sure that all those chili flakes are on there.
So Vio Sir and the Cab Franc Ice Wine, my favorite in this group. But man, was that ever fun?
Oh boy.
Yeah, cool, right?
It's fruitier, more intense.
Yeah, just more intense. Everything gets elevated in the wine and elevated. Like I taste the chili and the vinegars in there more with the ice wine and pairing with it. That's sort of like what you're looking to do when you're pairing food and wine. This was great. So really, really appreciate it. Happy to have this opportunity to celebrate culture and drink some good stuff. Cheers.
Happy Lunar New Year.